Hello friends, so I'm here in the back of the garden underneath the plum tree, enjoying the shade in the early evening, late afternoon. And I have just put in this white yarrow or achillea. And usually I wasn't a fan of yarrow because it grows pretty wild here. So I've always kind of considered it a bit of a weed. But I have this spot where it's very shady, kind of dry. It requires a plant that needs to be drought tolerant. And I've tried so many plants in that spot without success. And I've got some yarrow in the front yard that is doing really well in a dry area. And it's kind of spreading. So I thought I'd put this yarrow here just to see if maybe it'll do well. Once established, it'll be drought tolerant. So that'll be good. And then I think it won't spread too much because of the fact that it's in a more shaded area. It will get some sun, but not a huge amount because of the fact that I do have this plum tree overhead, which when it leaves out, it provides some shade. So that's my plan. I'm going to try it out there. And normally I'm not a fan of white flowers because I think when the white fades, they don't look that great. But I saw this. It was on clearance for $3 in Home Depot. And I just thought the flowers looked really vibrant and beautiful. And I thought it would kind of help light up this kind of back shady area. And I was just looking at Jim Putnam's Instagram, and he was posting a picture of this solidago, it's called, I believe, and I didn't know what that was called until I saw his post today. But it's kind of just like something growing wild in this little trench between my garden and my neighbor's garden here. So I thought that was kind of cool that I saw his Instagram identifying that today. Anyways, I did deadhead the flowers on this black pearl heuchera while I was here today. I also did a severe prune back on this lavender. This lavender is very happy here, and it gets humongous. It smells beautiful. So I'm optimistic that because this lavender gets enough sun here and does well, and it's a drought tolerant plant, that the yarrow, just a couple feet away, will hopefully do well as well, because they kind of like the same types of conditions. Additionally, I was able to pop in this evergreen in the back behind this. So behind this area, we had a rose bush that had not made it past the winter. It died in the winter. So I put this yew here. It's a Rising Star Yew. And that one is going to be evergreen. And I think it's going to get nice and tall, hopefully, and do well there. And it'll be a really nice dark green accent. And our wall here will eventually get redone, and the fence will go back up, and I think it'll be a really nice, eventually have a nice backdrop against the fence there. So that was that. And then just moving right along here, I had to do some weeding because this was like kind of covered in weeds. So I got that done. This is a rose campion as well as this. I put these basil rosettes in earlier this year, and some of them bloomed, some of them didn't, but the plant still looks good. Like, I still like that blue-green look and that fuzzy leaves, that texture. And I was told that once you have rose campion in your garden once, like, you'll have it forever. So I'm hoping the ones that bloomed will kind of reseed, because I really do like that vibrant, really bright fuchsia color. Okay, additionally, I had this blank spot in the front here. So what I did was, when I was cleaning up this area, I took out the rose bush in the back. I had put in the green yew, the dark green yew, and just found a contrasting texture. I wanted to put in this. This is a Gaura, and this is a sparkle White Gaura that I also had gotten at Home Depot, I think for $3 on clearance. So I popped that back there just for that wispy texture. I have some Gaura already in the garden, like over here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. There you go. It's a little different variety, but it also has that very airy texture. You can just see it through this Verbena bonariensis behind that pincushion flower there. So I really like that airy texture, so I wanted to add more of this Gaura. So when I saw it on clearance, I grabbed it. It'll be interesting to see what the sparkle white, how it differs in relation to the other variety. And I picked up another cat mint because I had put cat's pajamas in this spot and it died, or I didn't establish. I guess I might have put it in too late for it to establish before winter last year. So I decided to try a different Nepeta or cat's pajamas in this spot. And this one is called Kitten Around. And it was a good deal, a clearance plant for $3. Blue purple flowers, and you can see like it was a pretty big pot, a 22 centimeter or 8 by 8 inch pot. So it is a bigger plant, and I did give it a cut back with my shears because it was actually pretty, dried on the top. And that's why it was on clearance. But I give it a good shear back and I give it a good water, and I think it'll be good to go. So I did make a little bit of progress in the garden. And I had another one of these sparkle white Gauras that I popped in right over here. So this rose had also kind of died back, and then it shot up these new shoots from the base. So I'm not sure if these are going to be true to the or if it was a grafted rose or if it's an own root rose. So what the difference is, if it's grafted, it was put onto the base of a different rose to make it hardier and to make it survive. So I don't know if it was grafted or if this is own root. So if it's just shot up from its own root, then it's going to be true to the rose that I had here. If not, then it's going to be true to the root that it was grafted onto, which most of the time is a red rose called Dr. Huey. And I'm not sure. So what I've done is because a lot of my roses didn't survive this winter, which was common in my area, I've decided to just let this one go and see what happens. It'll probably bloom next year. So we'll see if I want to keep it or not. And actually, even if it's Dr. Huey and it's a red rose, I might keep it because, it's obviously got a will to survive. You gotta admire those plants like that. So yeah, I just did a bunch of cutting back of perennials. I did cut back this Veronica, which was looking like pretty rough, and did some weeding in the garden, which it's a very hot day here on the first day of September, so I was just taking it easy, doing it slowly and enjoying the bees. And it's nice to be out here digging in the dirt sometimes. So thanks for joining me on this update. Hello, so I apologize, I'm so tired right now, so I might not make a lot of sense. But here I have a stand of Onyx and Pearls Penstemon, one here, one here. They are doing really well in this part sun location, and they bloom beautifully for me. They've also readily self-seeded, and that's wonderful. I love that. I want them to spread everywhere. So what I've done is I've actually taken a couple of the baby seedlings here to transplant, and I'll show you where I moved them to. So let's just step over here. So back in this corner of the garden, I had earlier put in a proudberry coralberry shrub, which is doing really well. There are some berries starting to form, which is so exciting. That's right here. And I've decided to pop in a few Penstemon here in this blank spot, just because this is a little bit of a nursery area, because I have some baby Dusty Miller, I have some baby Brunnera. So I thought, hey, why not add some baby Penstemon? And I'm not sure if there'll be enough sun in this spot for the Penstemon to kind of take hold, because it is again a part sun area. It'll be shaded by this pear tree here. But I thought, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. I have so many baby plants that I feel totally fine with risking them. There's no cost to me except for just the time and effort. So we'll see how that goes. And I've also taken a couple more of them, and I just will put them in the area I was working on today. So you'll have to excuse the mess. I'm too tired today to clean it up, so I'm going to leave that for tomorrow. But I popped them over here in this area I've been working on. So you can see the two Penstemon plants, one here and one here. So we'll see how they do. And again, I got nothing to lose, right? So it's best of both worlds here. Nothing to lose, no cost, and just kind of an experiment. So just to recap what we worked on today, we've got the white yarrow in that spot, which is looking good. We've got the one of my 3 yew plants planted in here. One of them I had tried earlier in a different spot that hadn't made it, had dried out and died. But I'm hopeful it'll do well here. I do kind of want a border, like a higher evergreen in the back. Here I've also done a back shearing of my lavender, a severe shearing. And I've popped in the 2 Penstemon, as I mentioned. I popped in this Kitten Around Nepeta, or catmint. Popped that in, gave it a cut back because it was a clearance plant, so gave it a nice good shear. Put in this sparkle White Gaura, which is a little hard to see. So let me give you a close-up of that one so you can see the bloom here. There we go. Hopefully that'll take hold in that spot. And moving along, I did put another sparkle White Gaura on this side here. It's a little bit floppy and a little bit messy right now, but I'll point it out. It's kind of just in here. And kind of the way I did it was I had the 2 Gaura flank this rose. So 1 Gaura here and 1 Gaura here. And sorry if it's a little confusing. Back here is my neighbor's yard, and it's a step down, so they have a garden down. So kind of the border is right here. So it's a little bit confusing seeing it from this angle. Maybe if I do a side angle, it'll be a little bit more clear. So let's do that. Let me take you along the side so you can see. Yeah, so this to here is my garden, and then it drops down significantly, probably at least 5 feet. And then that's my neighbor's garden down there. So yeah, and I love Gaura. This year is the first time I put Gaura in my garden. And you can see that this is some Gaura here. It's a different variety. I think it's Belleza variety. And this is like 3 plants that I had put in early in the spring. And look how beautiful that is. They're also known as whirling butterflies. So they're white, but they have a tinge of pink to them. And I love that look. I love how it's just like blows in the breeze. I personally would rather have this than grasses. So when I saw like that they had some Gaura on clearance, I snatched it up. $3 a plant. So hopefully they'll survive, but if not a huge loss. And I believe you can actually divide Gaura at some point. So that's also another option. But yeah, it's finally cooled down in the evening. I'm exhausted, so I'm calling it for today. Thanks for joining me in the garden today. Hi friends, so it's the next day and it's overcast, much more comfortable than it was yesterday. Much cooler. I think there's probably it feels like a 10-degree difference. Anyways, I thought today I would come back to this area and just give it a mulch because this is a little bit of a neglected area. And the leaves are going to be falling soon, but I just thought, you know what, to prevent some weeds from popping up, because it does seem to be a problem area in that respect, why don't I just add some mulch to these new plantings and just kind of tuck them in for fall winter. So I've got some 1.5 bags of mulch here and some paper. I might try to put some paper down as kind of a sheet mulching method. So let's see how that goes. All right, so I did put some cardboard around the yew, and then I just used this kind of construction paper, wrapping paper around the rest that I'm gonna just start the sheet mulching with. And the construction paper is thinner, so it's not as good to use because really what you're trying to do is obstruct light. But it's better than nothing, and that's all I had right now. I don't have any more cardboard, so I'm gonna use what I have, and I was gonna do it without it, so every little bit helps. And we'll get the mulch on top. I don't know if I have enough mulch to do all of it because I only have a little bit of mulch left, but let's try to get this one wrapped up at least. All right, so done for today, wrapping up this bed. Looks so much better finished with mulch. And as you come closer, you can see some little paper popping out there, but that'll deteriorate really fast. We're going into fall winter in my zone 8B, which means lots of rain, lots and lots of rain. So I feel good tucking in these new plantings, including my Penstemon, baby Penstemon, my yew, and my new Yarrow, which is looking great. So I'll just give you a side view of this. Mulch really does go so far in making a bed look so nice and tidy. So I kind of stopped because I ran out of mulch, but also there is a little bit of a slope, so I didn't want to waste it by washing it away anyways. But I think it looks really nice. And this is a bit of a neglected corner, and because fall is coming, all of the leaves above me here from my pear tree, they're going to be coming down, and it's not like they'll all be falling in here and collecting, because the wind, there's quite a bit of wind in the fall as well, and that'll blow it all away. But it's good to see this project, or this corner at least, tidied up. And sometimes, you know, we just take little bits at a time, and that's all we can do. But happy with how this looks.